I'm really lucky to be here, and I'm really enthusiastic about being on stage again. Actually, like in many other cases, it's like 9 months or so that I have not been appearing in public, at least not in a physical way. So I'm really happy to be back, and actually I'm trying to ask a question here. So where are the self-driving cars? And I'm asking that question on a day we know that Elon Musk is in town to check out the status of the Berlin Gigafactory, and I think it's appropriate to ask because let me be technical on that point, and that's a bit in the genes of our company, VDI, VDE, Innovation and Technology here in Berlin, to ask things on the core of technology. And honestly, there is no self-driving car on the market. There is no such product. There's nice visions about it. There's nice movies, but you cannot buy those indeed. So we'll come to that point in more detail today in this little intervention that I'm giving here. If you ask people what they would expect a self-driving car to be, and how it should look like, and what it should deliver, they probably will mainly think of a self-driving pod, a self-driving shuttle, something that delivers goods from A to B, that brings people from here to there. And they would expect this to be super energy efficient, to be super safe, and also a little bit juster on the road. From the perspective of people, an important point also is their concerns about data security, for example, whether these cars would be hacking-proof, for example. Even though people believe that within 10 years or so we'll have self-driving cars in the city, many still have these concerns, and I think they need to be taken seriously. And we asked them around a year ago, 1,000 people here in Germany, whether they can imagine self-driving cars to be on the road, and 1 out of 2 believe that will happen in the future. When I first became interested into self-driving cars, I tried to read a book about it, but I couldn't find any. 7 years ago, there wasn't anything. So what I did then is I found a friend of mine, Sven Biker at Stanford University, and both of us, we wrote a book together. Actually, we asked others to write the content, and we contributed a little bit, but put our names on top of it, and we thought then it's solved, and we have all the wisdom and all the knowledge we need in one publication. Actually, we found out that's not the case, because when you ask researchers to comment on things like this, they are coming up with a couple of solutions, a couple of statements, but also with more questions. So we needed to continue that, and the next year had to write another book, and yet another book, yet another book, one more, and one more. Actually, number 7 just came out this summer. I'm happy to say that Jack Stilgo, who we heard earlier today, and also Nicholas Evans, who will be speaking after me, both are authors in number 7, and we are working on number 8 at this point. Meaning, this is still a matter of research. It's not yet solved. It's not yet there. That's also the impression that we have from asking people if they're having these concerns about the reliability of the technology, whether they can be sure that the data are that are handled in a good way. This is still a sign of not having a completely mature technology. If you ask engineers about self-driving cars and what is the essence of it, you will get answers that look pretty much like this. And we heard Florian talk about these nice LiDAR sensors, and they're an essential part, they're an essential building block, of course, of making cars self-driving and autonomous. But it's following a bottom-up approach, like the safety approach that we're having on roads today. It is assuming that we can give the car some more eyes and ears than a driver would have. But it's still also assuming that there is a person in the car that can, in the case of emergency, still press that red button. If we want to avoid that, we needed to do something completely different. We needed to represent all the cars, all the pedestrians, all the bicyclists in a big map, in a big database, if you want, that is kind of controlled remotely from some higher intelligence. It's very important, but also very difficult to know that or to understand that this intelligence is not yet there. it's still something we need to develop. And you may have heard about quantum computing, for example. So quantum computers at some point are expected to solve these matters, to control traffic in an automated way from one central intelligence. I'm a physicist myself. I know this is fundamental research. It won't be on the market in 10 years, nor in 20 years. So if we want to take advantage of the technology that we're having today, we need to come to compromises. We need to find ways of combining the sensing capabilities. Florian was talking about planning capabilities, knowledge of data, maybe also artificial intelligence. What we therefore need is a kind of a systemic approach that is where cars talk to cars, where cars talk to infrastructure, where cars talk to people or to cloud. Cloud is extremely important because by that you can bring in the knowledge, the experience that the driver would have, but the sensor doesn't have, right? That's also the way of bringing in artificial intelligence, for example. But obviously such a system is extremely complicated and particularly complicated to implement. If you wanted to do that, you need to be very much aware of all the different factors and dimensions it has. You need to make sure that technology is not blocked by legal frameworks, for example, is not blocked by human factors, it's not blocked by economy, it's not blocked by social considerations, but they all play together in a concert. There's a big danger, I think, that this would create like a big Gordian knot that you cannot solve and that just is delaying the technology development and the opportunities. Therefore, this really requires a kind of concerted and well-agreed approach. And one way of doing that is what we are trying to do right now in Europe, and to build a platform on connected, cooperative, automated mobility, where within 7 years we try to come to these agreements between technologists and economists and lawyers and people, of course. The question, of course, that you may ask is it all worth it? And I think we already saw a couple of interventions today that are saying there is an opportunity in automated mobility that may go beyond just transport, may go beyond just the question of how to bring people or goods from A to B. And it's something we would consider to go even beyond that particular field, but to change cities completely. If you include people and get them involved in the process of designing the technology in a co-creative manner, then you can make sure that those systems you find, the solutions you find are seamless, that they are sustainable, that they are inclusive in a way, provided and supported by autonomy. And I think that's the future vision we might have. And if we can make it in transportation, we may be doing it in other completely different fields as well that would make a city not just smart, but a wise city. This wisdom may be provided, of course, by cooperation of people with technology, but at the same time take advantage of all the opportunities we are having with making this technology more intelligent, more aware of the surroundings, and to act and to plan and to intelligently steer and manage operations. So Wise City, I believe, is this big future vision that we can try to support on a higher level with these steps towards autonomy. It's definitely worth it. And in my opinion, that's also the way of tackling all the challenges and issues relating to a pandemic, for example, but also to future crises to come like climate change. Thank you so much.